Bills fans. Whew. How much better is 5-16 this Sunday as opposed to 5-16 last Sunday? I hadn't come on to do a video at that time yet because I was just still sitting here wondering how that had happened. But today, a week removed, feels so much better. Oh my God. So much better. I mean, whoa, what a crazy game. What a crazy game. Just a lot of crazy stuff happened in that game. For a 35-0 win, which is just a beatdown. How do you if you hadn't watched the game, you wouldn't believe some of the stuff that happened in the game. Just the backs and forths, the ebbs and flows, the fact that the Bills were able to keep a clean sheet and not give up any scores. I mean, their fourth down defense was just the prescription for the affliction because, man, that defense really – what's up, Rick? How you doing, man? That defense is what really held it together. And the offense is going to get a lot of shtick today. They're going to get a lot of question marks, as rightfully so, because the standard is different now for the Bills offense. But the thing was that I saw that I liked, they were still taking shots. They came out in that third quarter and went down and scored a touchdown. To me, that was the game-winning drive right there. You're up 14-0. You had a chance to go up 17. You could have maybe even got a touchdown. But you know what? Realistically, you had a chance to go up 17-0, and they blew it. And, Bass can't connect on a 53-yard field goal, which you feel like he can. And, Rick, you say it's the ugliest it's as ugly as a 35-point win as you can get. But you take it because, they really were able to reestablish themselves in the second half and calm it down. It still wasn't crisp. It wasn't sharp. There was a lot of sloppiness to it. There was a lot of, there wasn't a lot of rhythm. But for what sorry for that, man, what they were able to do, and let's just do a timeline of the game. Bills come out. They win the toss. They defer. 3 and out, pretty much, right? Off the rip. Bills, they set the tone of the game. You saw what that game was going to be for the Bills right off the bat. Hyde comes in screaming. Sack. I believe the next sack was it by Poyer? It was 2 safety blitzes. And they that was back-to-back plays. Put it rough on Miami. Second play of the game on offense for the Bills motor, 46-yard touchdown. I think one Dolphin touched him, just grazed him. Then after that, I believe it was Miami's third possession. They go 3 and out again. Allen hits a bomb. He hits a bomb, play-action bomb, 35 yards to Bills get a short field. You get a 35-yard bomb to Emmanuel Sanders. I think 2 plays later, it was on a third down. Allen scrambles, does the thing. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Throws back across his body. Diggs, touchdown. We're cruising. We're on easy street right here. 30. That next series for Miami, A.J. Epinesa knocks Tua right out of the game. Just knocks him right out of the game. And in comes Jacoby Brissett. And I personally feel Brissett gave them a better chance to win than Tua because I mean, from what I saw from Tua and what I've seen from him, I know he's young. Man, and that offensive line, they're going to have to sign another quarterback because they're going to get – Brissett had a hard time getting up at the end of that game because the Bills, they're not known for having a hellacious pass rush. But today, and man, Greg Rousseau – that was those second effort, long. He just keeps moving, doesn't stop. He doesn't have that crazy, he's going to blow a guy off the edge. But he just played awesome. But, the whole defense just played amazing. What's up, Hussein? How you doing, bro? The whole defense played amazing. And they just kept that intensity up the whole game. And that's hard to do. They had some lapses there. in Gesicki, in covering Gesicki. The Bills, knock on wood. If you watched around the league, there was a lot of injuries, a lot of scares today. For being down there in Miami, I think they had 2 hydration issues on defense. Levi Wallace and Tremaine Edmonds both went out, got IVs, really didn't need to come back in the game. And you really didn't notice them not being in the game because AJ Klein and Dane Jackson played very, very well. Very, very well. What's up? How you doing, bro? Yep, bring them on next, baby. That's, listen, we us fans, the team, they have a 48-hour rule. We have a 72-hour rule. We get to enjoy this one till Wednesday. Then we'll start thinking about that. That's that's the way I always play it. I'm just gonna enjoy this one. Last week was tough. It sucked. Just the whole week sucked. Everything went wrong with everything. You didn't know victory Monday. You hadn't seen the team win in almost a calendar year. Man, it feels good, bro. It feels really, really good to come here as opposed to last week and just that shitty feeling we had. But this game was insane. The Bills get the ball. They have 14-0. Zach Moss, he's going to get 8 to 9 yards, fumbles the ball. Jerome Baker knocks it out. But you know what? It was poetic justice because that bullshit third down stop that they had, penalty, what they flagged Levi, and there was a few. They got Trey White for a so-called hold, and it was just like, what did he do? Some of these calls these refs are making are just god awful. They're atrocious calls. And then Levi Wallace, I think it's 2 plays later, karma, baby, fucking beautiful INT, gets the ball back. But, the Bills don't do anything with it. It was just really ugly. That whole fourth quarter, I'm sorry, not the fourth quarter, like from 5 minutes left in the first to the whole second quarter was just ugly, back and forth. The Bills making stops, the Dolphins making stops. They really got a lot of traction. There was no field flipping. The biggest play that happened was the Waddle fumble punt return. Tywan Jones knocks it out. Bills fall on it, but they're not able to capitalize. It was a 50. That hurt me. That really did, because I feel like, you anytime you can add on points to a 14-0 lead, you love it. But going into the halftime, up 17, you felt confident. But for them to come out, and what a hell of a catch by Dawson Knox. That was a hell of a catch by Dawson Knox. What's up, Nick? How you doing, man? Nick Khan. It was just, we're going to nitpick it because the offense was sloppy, but Allen made the throws that he had to make in the red zone. 4 for 4 today in the red zone. Unlike last week, 1 for 4. This week, that's what won the game. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't rhythmic. There was not a lot of, splash plays. Just a lot of misses, a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas. There were some interceptions he could have had, but they were dropped. It was ugly out there. Sorry for the helicopter, guys. I live right by the Holland Tunnel, so they always have traffic copters. But anyway, there was some of those. But and how about Zach Moss? I think it's just everything. It's early in the season. They only had the 1 game of reps in against the Packers. Then you get out 2 weeks, you come back and you get thrown in against good defenses. There's some plays Allen's leaving out there, those sports them. I really see that he's either a little too early or he's a little too late. His timing is a little off. He's either throwing it a little too late or he's throwing it a little too early, and he's not, really like stepping into it enough. Particularly the one that Diggs got in the second half in the fourth quarter where he mossed the shit out of Xavier Howard. That should have been a touchdown. He beat Howard. He had a step on him, and it just that's what should have been. But you know what? Bills ended up scoring on that drive anyway, a touchdown. And they have plenty of time. I mean, 15 games now. And you know what? It's good that it's not all pretty and they can win an ugly game. But what a rebound by Zach Moss. He comes out, he fumbles. and it looks like, oh man, you're going to let Miami back in the game. And then, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so, Hussein. I mean, people say like, oh, fans affect. These guys have been playing in front of fans. They get drafted in the first round playing in front of fans. It's not like fans are an anomaly. I just think that, again, played some good defenses. Didn't have enough time in the preseason with the ones in real game, maybe in practice. But, we see flashes. They had 300 and change yards, and it didn't look like that. It didn't look like they had 300 and change. But ultimately, they put 5 touchdowns on the board, and they were 4 for 4 in the red zone. They were 8 for 13 on third down. Zach Moss, I saw on his Instagram, he flew to Miami a day early, and I was curious. I'm like, why is he going to Miami ahead of the team? But after the game, he had to bury a family member. Apologies, guys. He had to go back to Miami and go to a funeral of a family member, and he had that fumble. But some of the runs he had, one third down in particular, where he just ran behind his pads and just willed that. I believe that was on the touchdown drive coming out of the half, and then the goal line touchdown run was just brutal. That was just brutal. That was him lowering his shoulder and just blasting his way in through Eldon Roberts, because he was feeling it too, because he got up real slow, and that's the different dimension Moss gives you. He just gives you that punch, and I hope he's able to build off this. I hope Motor's able to build off this, because he had that big run, something that he's kind of been criticized for, not having breakaway speed, but he got out in the open field and he took it. There was maybe he would have been caught if it was another 10, 15 yards away, but still he broke through the first and second level, and nobody in the third level caught him. So you got to give him credit. Yeah, Thomas, Darrell Williams didn't have his best game. I don't think they shuffle the line. I just keep thinking that they just keep rolling him out there and, just say, you got to work on it. You got to work on it, because your backup tackles are rookies. Tommy Doyle was inactive and Spencer Brown's a rookie. So you just paid Darrell Williams money. You're not going to cut off your nose to spite your face like that. I mean, he's, the one play that, where you let Ogba just beat him off the line and just get Josh hit. I was really pissed, but yeah, everybody's saying it in the room. Advanced Roofing. Thanks, bro. Let me read some of the comments here. You guys are burping them in. They have a new feature on here about the late comments. I apologize, guys. I don't really know how to mess with it, but it always asks me before I open up the room. 2 days in a row, Miami got blown out of its own building. Player of the game for me, Epinesa Ruseo. Yeah, man. I think Ruseo is he had fun. He played really, really well. I mean, to have and he's playing a lot, guys. Like, I don't know if you guys look at the defensive line rotation. He is in a lot. Like, he's not coming off the field. He was on the field late, and I know they have 2 older ends in Addison and Hughes that they rotate, but he was on the field a lot. Starr played today, and you saw it. Starr ate up a lot of double teams, was able to free up, he freed up a lot of one-on-ones for some guys. Oliver didn't have the impact this game that he had last week. Zimmer got in on a sack late. I think it was 28-0. Miami got the ball. They Bills just beat them up on that drive, and I think it ended in the Zimmer sack. But yeah, AJ really he leveled. And I want to kind of talk about that, because I saw that play, right? And you see Tua go off the field, and you never want to see a player hurt, but he has an injury history. He's got some durability issues with an ankle he had. He had a high ankle sprain. It really lingered. Then he had the hip. Of course, that's a devastating injury. He was able to recover from that. Now he's got dealing with ribs. And you look at Allen, and that's another thing that's like an underrated attribute of a quarterback. To me, it's an obvious one, but it's one. He's a tough son of a bitch. He took some big hits in this game, kept getting up, had some hard runs. was really pissed they didn't run them on a 4th and short in their own end. I get it. They felt confident in the defense, but I feel like, you know what? I just wanted the defense off the field. Even if they would have ended up punting, I wanted the defense off the field for, a little. It was hot out there. They lost 2 defenders due to dehydration, but they were able to, they weren't injured. These aren't lingering things. And I just think Allen, you see the difference in prospect and caliber of player. Allen, big, physical, durable, sturdy. Anybody can get hurt. And, we could have played a lot better, Travsdale. We could have played a lot better. We could have played – look what happened to Steelers today. They open at home, and they get beat. And the difference is, they don't get a punt block return for a touchdown, and they maybe hit on a pass that Allen could have hit on with Sanders, and there's your ball game right there. Look what happened to the Saints today, coming off of, oh, wow, look at Jameis. He's reborn under Sean Payton. They get destroyed against Carolina. It's such a week-to-week league, and everybody overreaction, especially the first week, because we're all so football starved. And I want what I like and what I look for, and my hope. I think all of our hope is this team's not playing its best football right now, and we've seen the trend reverse back to the norm. The defenses are ahead of the offenses. The Bills' defense is definitely looking like it's back to being the caliber of defense it can be and was in 2019. But the offense definitely has a lot of timing issues and just not in a rhythm yet. They get in rhythms in little pockets. They don't sustain them throughout the game or for whole quarters. And that can come. I think that can come. I want to see how this team's playing its best football in November, late October, throughout November, December. That's when I'm really going to look to see, where we're at. But again, around the league, a lot of helicopters, guys. I apologize. I get it, but they were much more balanced today. They had that big rainstorm right after the Bills scored, and I was so happy. They had a big rain pour that came down really hard after the third touchdown to Knox. And that was a hell of a catch. Knox was going to I think it's to his right on the run, diving, and he catches it. And he's pretty much caught every pass thrown his way. I mean, it hasn't been many, but that was a nice touchdown. And, yeah, he had a rough game, Thomas. He had a rough game. I watched that one being here in North New Jersey. But knocking Tua out of the game, it seemed to – I don't know if it unsettled Miami because Brissett came in and did a little bit, hit Parker on a few passes, hit Waddle on one inside. He got about 16 yards on it. I think they ended up converting that third down too. It was really irritating. Gesicki had a few plays where he caused the Bills some problems, but all in all, I mean, the ball security issues were for both teams. Miami turned over the ball 3 times. Nobody turned over the ball in the second half, but in the first half, there was just some, everybody was just putting it on the turf, and it was really, really frustrating. But everybody is going to talk. Two things will come out of the game. Even though they won, Allen needs to improve. He wasn't sharp. What's the deal there? And then the Bills' defense was just, they were just a wrecking crew. They were a wrecking crew, and it was a fun win. It was really a fun win. Yeah, Milano played amazing. He had a sack. I think he had the sack early, along with Hyde. Had 2 tackles for losses. I think he had 5 tackles. Ruseo 5 tackles, 2 for loss, 2 sacks, and it just really there was a lot of mental. What do I say? You'd think there was a military operation going on out here with all these helicopters. It was one of those games. There was a lot of mental checks, like a weak team, a brittle team, a team that, like, hey, you go up 14-0, then you have a turnover, maybe Miami would have gone, a team with a lesser mental fortitude would have given up a score there. Instead, the Bills got the turnover right back. They didn't do anything with it, but Wallace was able to pick it off. They were able to get some big fourth down stops backed up in the shadow of their end zone, and they just kept the game calm. Weak teams, they make mistakes to allow a team like Miami back in the game. And I saw that the Bills, they showed me a little something there on the mental side, because you can rest on your laurels, feel like you're up, get a little too cozy, fat and happy. Hey, we're up 14-0, we're up 21-0. They just kept the foot on the gas and were able to, just keep that momentum going. Read some of the comments here. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that, Con. Yeah, they just sound so loud here, man. I think it's messing up the feed. Bills boot camp. Dable needs to get Allen going before we start running. It's 50-50. I think they can work in concert, but yeah, man, he's a little off. He's either a little too late or a little too early. The offensive line, it's like they have the perfect storm of shit, right? It's like the offensive line there's a tip pass, who knows what that could have been, right? Then they ended up punting, but they got the ball right back on a fumble by Waddle. So it was they might be, man. They might be. They're a little too far up, bro. What's up, Chris? How you doing, bro? It was, yeah, man. What a nice feeling all of us are gonna have tomorrow. I mean, the rest of the day feels really, really nice right about now. But Victory Mondays are always nice. It always feels good. Where you wear your Bills gear, you feel like, okay, we got this. Calm the game down. But again, week one, having that L at home was really shitty. And it really, just made me sick. It made all of us sick. But to finally just get that taste out of our mouth against a division opponent in their place and just really, it was both Hussein, both Wallace and Tremaine went out for cramps, hydration. They were on the sidelines they basically Wallace they just didn't want to risk putting them back on the field. So they just kind of kept them out, put them on the sideline. AJ Klein played their whole second half because there was no need to. So they just played it safe with those guys. It was just a cramping issue. That's all. You remember, and you could have an issue like this if you guys remember back in 2014, Bills blew out Miami. I think it was a 40-something to 14 game. Tyrod Taylor's second start. Sammy Watkins caught a long ball, might have been a touchdown, pulled his calf, and he was out for like 4 to 5 weeks because of the Miami, the humidity and the heat and the hydration. Yeah, they just look off of it. They just look off of it. They don't look like they're in a good rhythm. They don't look like they just don't look like they're in rhythm right now. But I'll take the win. It's a good win. It's sexy, but it's not sexy. You got Denver going 2-0 today against Jacksonville, who's now 0-2. New England they just beat up a rookie quarterback today here at the Meadowlands. That kid he made some plays, but he still has like that rookie deer in the headlights, and he's getting hit a lot, man. That kid is taking some big lumps. I don't know if he makes it through the year at this point, Wilson, the way he's getting hit. Travsdale, I'm glad didn't give up on Moss after the fumble. Yeah, I mean, you know what, Travsdale, that's right, because it's like you can just destroy a player's confidence. You can destroy a player's confidence. You can just turn them into a mental midget. And the fact that they not only went back to him, they went back to him in big spots. The third down carry where he just really it was on his own. It was to the edge. He got it after he's a load. That he's built like a tank. First guy wasn't able to break him down. He gets behind his pads and bam, like the run before the fumble, how he ran behind his pads and he made that run. Offensive line helped a little bit, but the last 8 yards of it was on him. And the way he finished those runs, like the first one in particular, well, actually, you know what? Forget it. Both of those touchdown runs, those were angry runs. And I like that. And the Bills need a little bit out of their offense. They need to win some ugly plays. Josh getting the keeper on the fourth down was nice to see. You got to do that, man. You got this quarterback. There was a few times last week against Pittsburgh there was opportunities for that. You got this quarterback. You got to hammer him home. You got to hammer him in there. Let me read some of the comments here. Chris Beckham, offense needs some more polishing. Allen, no, he is not playing up to par. Little late, little early. Breakdowns here, there. They need to pick it up. They need to pick it up. Con, 40, 50, it's the humidity, man. That humidity is hell. It's heavy. Every breath you take, it feels like it's just heavy. And the sweat is like sticky, thick. It's really a different kind of heat, man. For those of you, most of you probably been down there in Florida, so you know what it's like just to walk outside. Imagine playing a football game. I think having Thomas, makes a difference. Just him freeing up guys, because I saw it today. There was a couple of times they were able to do the panoramic on the broadcast, and I saw Oliver getting a one-on-one. Starr was occupying two guys. The edge guys were predominantly getting a lot of one-on-ones. It was nice to see, and he really just did his job. The linebackers were clean most of the game. The run defense was pretty solid. They didn't give up anything crazy. So hats off to them. And Miami has some serious offensive line issues. Serious offensive. It doesn't matter who they have playing quarterback. Their offensive line, they're in for it. They're in for a long season. Chris, he was out for a couple of quarters, but in that third quarter he was able to come back and just regather himself and make some impact plays. Violent plays, and I like to see that. What's up, Eric? It was nice, man. It was nice to see, bro. It was nice to see them just go. Just go. You invest so much in your defensive line, whether it's high draft picks, free agent money. You allocate that much to that unit. That unit's got to win you games, and that was the best unit on the field today, bar none. And the back end played great too. Let's be honest. They had a few plays. Gesicki, who's pretty much a wide receiver. He does not play tight end at all. He plays detached in the slot or wide. He lines up. When he has to run his route out of a 4-point stance, he's not the same player. But when he's able to just line up detached, he's a different player. And he gave them a few plays, where we were just like, oh, somebody's got to cover this guy. But outside of that, the Bills' defensive line and their just every level of their defense was really, really high caliber today. But their defensive line really was beautiful. You're already on the Hussein Washington. You'll be at the game. You get 72 hours, man. You got to enjoy it. Fans, we get 72 hours. The team gets 24. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it, boot camp. I really appreciate it. It was, wow. It feels like weights have been lifted. You know what I mean? It was just every step this week, every workout sucked. The meals didn't taste as good. Communication with the girlfriend sucked this week. It might have sucked today because we got our wires crossed about something that was just like, what? She got mad at me. So I was just like, oh man, come on. I can't catch a fucking break. And thanks for reminding me that, Thomas, because I come into these videos. First of all, I was having trouble getting live the first 2 times. So I had to restart the process over. That's why I wasn't in here earlier. And then I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to wait for the press conferences. And I watched those. But yeah, man, this for a week 2 game, this was a big game. This was a big one. You don't want to go down there against the Miami team who just went into New England and won a close game, and they force a fumble with their defense's backs up against their own goal line. Xavier Howard forces a fumble on Damian Harris, and they've gained momentum. They gain confidence. They're going back home for their opener. All the talk, if you listen to their media, their players talked about, getting revenge for last year. Helicopters getting for revenge for the 56 to point beat 56 something beat down. That was their chance to go to the playoffs, but they just got destroyed. Their players got questioned. Flores, he blows it off, tries to keep it on point. He's the kind of coach that doesn't want to give a team much. Yeah, Allen's either too late or he's too early. It's just like he seems like he's in between. He's just not even when he makes some throws, it just seems like his best drive of the game was the drive coming out of half. The Dawson Knox touchdown where they went down there and I felt confident after that drive. It was like, I think they have this game. The way our defense is playing, the way Miami's offense can't get any traction, I think that I don't see them scoring 24 points to win the game. Again, these helicopters are killing me, man. They're killing me. I'm sorry. But yeah, going down there, it was kind of a backs up against the wall, all man's on deck kind of situation for week 2. You don't want to go 0-2. You don't want to give Miami a 2-game division lead, which is huge. It's massive. You go down there, you go to their place, and just you make a statement. You know what? We're not our best, but we're this much better than you, not at our best. And I think that's another sign I got today. It's like the Bills, despite not being at their best, not even close, especially offensively, and even a little bit on the special team side of it too, they won 35-0. Like, think about that. The Bills played probably a C+ game and won 35-0. I just don't see that Miami team currently constructed being able to gain any ground on the Bills. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. They just look like an average team. They can win a game here and there against a Jacksonville, or maybe they can upset it, somebody of, who knows. They'll beat the Cincinnati's, maybe they'll play a tough game and maybe they win against a Tennessee. I don't know, but the Bills just look like they just look like light years better than them at every level of their team. They look like they're better coached. They look like they're just better across the board. Yeah, it's a week-to-week league. Yeah, they passed on him. A lot of guys passed on him. Giants. And I don't know what he's doing right now against Dallas, but, it's just Tua seemed like the guy. He seemed like everybody thought. But, yeah, there's no excuses for me either. I just don't see – even if let's say they split with New England, there's no excuses that they don't win this division going away. Another thing, though, to be able to go in there and just split, get that 1-1, get in the win column, not have any panic, just that composure. Poyer said it leaving the podium last week. You know what? No panic here. We're going to go down there and we're going to do it. And this to me, for many, many reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is they have guys in that room that genuinely care, unlike in the past. A head coach that's been there for 5 years, a quarterback that is just going to do anything to win, is a tough son of a bitch. And that's, I don't want to say Mr. Glass, but I said it earlier, in a game like this where it's ugly and it's wet, it's nip and tuck, even though it's 35-0, you see the difference in caliber of pedigree at quarterback. A quarterback that stands tall, takes hits, absorbs them, gets up, goes on, plays tough, gritty, and just Tua just doesn't look like he's built for it. He just doesn't. That's a hit that you're going to take in the NFL. And it could happen to anybody. I know Baker went out today, had his shoulder slip out, non-throwing, had it pop back in. Few other players got injured. Chicago had a horrible game in LA. They beat a team in Cincinnati that had to win against Minnesota in overtime. So, Jameis came back down to earth and they got beat up against Carolina. Just, it is such a week-to-week league. It really, really is. And not many things are transferable week to week, but it's for them. They'll look at it. They'll they'll do what they do. Their process is pretty tried and tested, and they'll try to, clean up any things that they can offensively. And for the defense, they're just going to say, you know what, we got to build on this. The offense is going to be like, hey, we got to get rhythm. We got to start hitting, clicking early and often. And they've played, let's be honest though, Miami's a tough team. They have a tough defense. They have two of the highest paid corners in the NFL, and they're ball hawks, especially Howard. Howard is a ball hawk. He gets his hands. I mean, the one that he dropped, I don't know how he dropped it. The closest thing Miami came to scoring a touchdown was Devontae Parker. He looked like he dropped it. He probably did drop it. Yeah, that was a huge one, Con. He mossed the shit out of, and that's what happens when you have good playmakers on the outside. But it also, I'm not trying to kiss Allen's ass. Allen's not afraid to throw that ball. Allen had a terrible day for his standards, for our standards, and he still has the guts to throw that ball. And, trust Diggs that, you know what, he's going to win for me, or that pass is not going to be caught by anybody. And it got completed. Kind of reminds me of a pass Diggs caught was a lot shorter last year in Miami, where he jumped over like a bunch of guys. It was in a lot of traffic, and he came down with it. Also, Gabe Davis had a similar catch. He had a similar catch in against the Chargers last year. There's a lot of helicopters, guys. I'm sorry about that. Also, if you notice the personnel groupings, there was not a lot of Gabe Davis today. He was really, they wanted to play it safe with the ankle. He came out in spots. He didn't play a lot. He just played in spots. He didn't play a lot. He looked like he was doing well in warmups and stuff, because I was watching the Bills field pass, but he just didn't, he wasn't really I don't think he caught a ball today. It was a lot of Knox, Sanders, Beasley, Diggs, Motor. And they sprinkled in a little bit of Moss, enough to where, he had an impact in the second half. And then some, they were showing a lot of McKenzie motions. They never did hand them the ball, but they were trying to get them to bite up, and they tried to go deep on a few of those and just weren't able to connect. Yeah, Ruseo was, I'm interested to see the snap count, Eric, because he played a lot. Like, he was on the field. Like, I was kind of shocked. I'm like, they only dressed 8 offensive linemen for the game. 8 defensive linemen for the game. And there was 3 inactives on the D-line. Obata, Basham, inactive for his second game. And then Harrison Phillips, which was a little bit of a shock. I thought Harrison would have been up, at least in place of Vernon Butler. I thought they would probably had another end, but I was like, well, it's going to be hot, these big guys. They really tightened the rotation. They didn't want to have as many guys available. So they tightened the rotation, had 8 guys up. They might, you know what? And sometimes you got to have that. It's like a running back. You give the pass rushers a rhythm. They're able to just, work on a tackle a little bit, see what he likes to do, see what he's uncomfortable with. And those sacks were by Ruseo were just such effort sacks, though. And his length does it. He has a good motor. He's not going to beat a guy off the edge like Myles Garrett is, where he can the guy can get low. I mean, for a guy that size to get that low and create that much leverage is insane. That's why he was the first overall pick. But Ruseo is going to have to win in other ways, and he definitely won today. Yeah, Zimmer is a guy that they like a lot, and he's playing in front of other guys. Like, he's the main backup for Starr right now, and he's playing in front of, gotta say, he's playing in front of Harrison Phillips. He gets a lot of burn beside Oliver. Butler wasn't on the field that much, but they tried to keep those guys fresh as possible. But Ruseo seemed like a guy, like, look, you played college ball down here. You know what this is like. You've been on this field. They just felt comfortable leaving him out there. And it was Epinesa, Hughes, and Addison who rotated a lot. And, they were just able to make it work. Because there was a few other times I thought the Bills were going to get to Brissett. I thought they were going to – there was one time in particular I thought, oh, my God, how did they not get him? They had 6 sacks today. I thought they could have had 10. Yeah, that win was almost illegal, Dave. It was a good one. It was really nice to see, man. It was really nice. They needed this win. They needed this type of statement They needed a way against a division team that's 1-0 in the division. They calm it down. They settle everything down. They keep us relaxed for at least this week, because if you lose that game, then all sorts of questions start to happen, and you don't want to go back home against Washington is scrappy. We watched them on Thursday playing, the Giants, who are up against it. They have a lot of question marks, but Heineke's scrappy. They probably should have lost the game, but the Giants just can't finish. They just can't finish, and they just ended up getting beat. Let me read some of the comments here. Yeah, man, that at Miami, and there was a lot of Bills fans there. I mean, it wasn't a big crowd. I mean, they just do not draw a lot of fans, and it was mostly Bills fans not going to the game, but just hanging out in Miami, watching the game in Miami, taking a little quick vacation, or doing both, going to the game. It was, I would say, what was it? You think it'd be like 50-50 Bills Dolphin fans? I mean, I seen some Dolphin fans in the crowd, but anytime the TV showed the crowd, it was a lot of red, white, and blue Bills. So, I mean, that was, it didn't shock me at all. Yeah, that just didn't happen. They showed it. They tried to go deep off of it. They would show it. And then the one pass that was late to Sanders in the end zone, it was in the fourth quarter, was probably they ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive. It was like they threw it from like the 16-yard line, and it was a little late. They tried to hit that off the play action, but off the jet sweep, but it just didn't seem like it was part of it today. I want to see them be able to run more downhill, more conventional runs. I don't like that little give out of the shotgun, because the offensive linemen just never get any movement off of it. And anytime they run from under center, when Allen's under center and able to hand the ball off and the running back gets a nice running start, they're just more successful on those plays. I just don't like that little give. They never get anything off of it. I hate it. Unless Allen keeps it. It's all right, Tom. It's all good, man. How you feeling? I don't know about you guys feel about that run play. I just don't like it. Every time they run it, I fucking hate it. They just never get yards off of it. And their two nicest run plays today were off Allen under center, just the running back getting 5-7 yards ahead of steam before he gets the ball. And I know one was a big first down. Well, one was a touchdown, so it was 3 big plays, and the other was the Moss touchdown, where he created a lot of chaos at the second level, and they just couldn't bring him down. I think some of the Bills' offensive linemen might have carried him into the end zone, but he finished that run pretty hard. But I'm happy as a pig in shit, guys. I mean, thank you guys for coming in. I wanted to do this at 6, but I was like, maybe it's a little late. You guys will want to just relax on Sunday, watch the Sunday night game, enjoy, have your drinks and have your food and relax and enjoy this win, because it feels that good. And we all should, because last week was so shitty. So I'm so much happier to be here in front of you guys now. I'm going to read some of the comments here. Tom, it's all right, man. You guys don't owe me nothing. You come in, you spend what time you want, you leave when you want. It's nothing personal. Just the fact that you guys come in here and just care about what I have to say. I appreciate that fuck out of it. Hold on a second. I absolutely have to answer this. But yeah, let me get some of the comments going. Dave of Steel, Allen was a beast out there in the pocket sliding. Yeah, fucked up my fantasy score. You know what, Dave? It's just that I said this a couple of times. You see Tua go down early, take a big hit from a defensive end in Epinesa. He comes down hard, just knocks him out of the game. You see Allen. Allen was getting hit a lot today. And I don't like to see that, but you see him bounces right back up. Big, tough, durable stud quarterback who can absorb those type of hits and just, still want to go get more. Like, he's still not opposed to putting his head down in a short yardage situation or trying to score on the goal line. Moss ended up finishing that violently on Eldon Robinson, but it was just really, really that's the thing. It's like you have a quarterback like him. It's like the deep throw to Diggs. Like he didn't hit. He was kind of off all day. Then he just hits that big one to Diggs, just like the one to Sanders. The passes that he did hit were crucial. Crucial. Let me read some of the comments here. What's going on with the pass game for us it just looks like, Eric's touched on it. I've said it, for those of you guys watching, it just looked like they're off rhythm, man. There's just they're not getting into a rhythm. When they're not sustaining it. The first drive coming out of half where they score Dawson Knox touchdown, it's rhythm. Boom, 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 touchdown. That's the ball game pretty much, 21-0. Outside of that, that was the most rhythmic drive they had all. I think there was one drive in the fourth where they held the ball a little bit, and I think that's when they went up 35-0 or 28-0. They just really just iced the cake on that point. But that was their most rhythmic drive. It looked like the Bills' offense from 2020. But yeah, it just looks like he's a little late, a little off. There's maybe some issues with the routes. There's definitely still some offensive line issues. They got to still get some traction there. I think in retrospect, in hindsight, they should have played a little bit more in the preseason. Probably should have saw them for at least another half of football and another half half of a half. So like 21 minutes, they should have been out there a little bit more, because they just don't look like the game timing just isn't there. Bills win makes everything better. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it, Con. Thank you. Thank you guys. Yeah, I hope, just relax. He played good. He just cramped up. He cramped up. I think it was a calf. The way they were stretching him out, I saw them. I was a little afraid it was one of those non-contact things, which end up always being Achilles. It scared the shit out of me. But I saw them trying to stretch his calf, and they would never do that if somebody had a torn. And I saw him on the sidelines walking around fine. The trainers weren't looking at him. The same thing with Edmonds too. They're just like, with guys with cramping and stuff, we're winning this game. We're in control. We don't have to put these guys back on the field and risk them. Yeah, man, me as well. Hopefully they get the rhythm back, because they're going to need it. They're going to need it, definitely. But like I said, they need to play their best football. Every team, what they are, October, November, I need to see them click next week. But when they're playing their best football, hopefully it's at those times and winning and just stacking wins, because that's what's going to start now. Now you got to start stacking wins. Now you got to start stacking wins. Tom says, I really don't want Josh running the ball so much. Glad we won the game, but 150 million reasons. Yeah, he wasn't the number one rusher, but that was a Singletary today. But they do need to be more balanced. And they need to run when they need to run it. Like, this team knows you're going to run. We can give it to our backs, and they can get us a hard yard, a hard 3. You need to be able to do that. There was games last year, particularly in Arizona, where they just could not run the ball, and they were up, I think 24-7 or 24-10. They were up, and they just weren't able to hold it because they just couldn't run the ball, and they had to just have Allen throw. He threw a few interceptions, it got Arizona back in the game, and they ended up winning on that Hail Mary. Yeah, there was the two big pass plays, Eric. The one to the drive starter that they got, I think it was a second down play. It might have even been a third down. It was to Beasley, 22 yards, got him to midfield coming out of half. That was huge. There was a couple, I don't know if Josh was late or Howard made a hell of a play. It was like a quick slant to Diggs, and he got his hands on the ball. It was just a weird play, and he intercepted it, but they never paid for it. Yeah, just again, I'm trying to extrapolate the positives, but real about some of the negatives that we saw. And the fact they were able, when they did get in the red zone, they finished with touchdowns, 4 for 4. Third down, 8 for 13. So they're good there. They didn't turn over the ball in the second half, and it was raining. Moss mentally rebounded, got some traction, and had 3 beautiful runs in that half. One for a big first down, and 2 touchdowns inside the 10 that were just really, really nice. They do need to get bigger, and they're capable of it, and that's going to come. Like Emmanuel Sanders, this is his second game with Josh. Last year, it's like you look at Smokehead, that was his third full year with Josh. Was it 19, 20? Yeah, it was his second. I'm sorry. This was second. It's a lot. And training camp was normal. So they had normal time together. So that's still a work in progress. Davis wasn't a big part of the offense today because of the ankle. He played a little bit, but wasn't. They kind of just said, you know what? Well, if we need you, we can put you out there. But if we don't need you, you're not going to be out there. And I think the personnel packages that they showed prove that. I saw Davis out there probably only like 5 times, if that. 5 times. And there was a couple of running plays where he was just mostly a blocker. Like he wasn't targeted once. Kumaro was targeted in the end zone, and it was overshot. That's a smart play too by Allen. There was a couple of plays where he's running. There's no play there. He's just, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this ball. There was a couple of plays where they could have been interceptions. McCourty drove down on a Knox, and thankfully that wasn't picked off. And there was another one. He was a little bit late, and Howard almost made a hell of a play coming over. And it was McKenzie that was on the left, and it was like, oh shit, that could really have cost us big time. And those 2 times the Bills went down and scored. Yeah, no Breida on offense either today. I was kind of shocked because he was up. And even when Moss fumbled, I'm like, you know what it is? It's like we're all wired this way now. And I'm going to say something else. I'm so glad our offense is not built around a bell cow running back. I cannot begin to tell you. Like where we have this one back who just has to do, be – LaShawn McCoys are nice, but ultimately they don't win you big. And I'm just glad we don't have to have this running back that's just always like, you got to feed him. You got to be on it. You know what? You have a stable, you feed him, you feed the hot hands. But it was really nice to see Moss get back on track. But when Moss fumbled, we're all wired this way. Oh, guess what? He's not touching the ball again for the whole game. We're going to see Breida out there. I didn't see Breida out there once. And you're handing the ball off near the goal line. That's a key spot. You're handing the ball off on a third and what was that, like a 3rd and 1? That's a key spot. He breaks a big tackle there. So mentally, and the guy buried a relative the day before. So, I mean, nobody knew that till after the game. So that was, I think we'll see next week going into the game. I think we'll see Moss, and I think we'll see Singletary as the backs up. And I think we might see Breida inactive next week because having 5 backs up on game day, that cuts you off in some other spots. It really, really does. I'd much rather have another corner, another defensive lineman up at all. Yeah, I mean, I think Breida's the backup kick returner. That's my only thing. I think he's the backup kick returner, so I don't want to – and they don't like putting Hyde back there and risking him returning. They just don't – I mean – you don't want to do that. You don't want to lose him returning a kick at all. And let me see, even back in the day when we had Thurman, you still needed Kenny Davis. You still needed guys like Don Smith. You still needed Derek Holmes. You still needed Larry Kinborough. You still need dudes. And when they started trying to give Thurman 300-plus carries, he wasn't the same player. Thurman at his best was a 250 to 270 a carry back at most, and a hell of a blocker on 3rd down, hell of a pass receiver. So you could have used him. You used him in a variety of other areas, but when they tried, just feeding him, he wasn't the same player. He wore down too much. And I know there was a stat, anytime Thurman runs over 100, the Bills would win. It was like some crazy stat, but just giving him so much of a workload was never good. The Bills don't have a back like him now, but I think Motor getting that long touchdown run gives him some confidence, gives the offensive line some confidence, because they really finished that game strong. Miami's got a big defensive front. They have big linebackers. It was also nice to see our first-round pick outplay their first-round pick both from the University of Miami, both defensive ends, both wore 15 at Miami, and our number 15 from the U was, it's early. He's the better player, and right now he's the better player. And it just, he just looks like a guy they just really want to build on. We're going to see him playing a lot. And it kind of makes you wonder, would they move a defensive end off the roster at some point, one of the vets? I mean, would be a trade. Is it possible? Maybe. I mean, do they move an Addison, a Hughes, because Russeo's playing a lot. Epinesa's starting to pick up. They have Obata, they have Basham. So they have guys, and then you still have a veteran defensive end you can lean on. It kind of makes you wonder where they're gonna go. The defensive line, the offensive line rotation. I didn't see Butker out there once. It just looked like the main five with Ford, Morse, Feliciano, and Dawkins and Williams. I didn't see any rotation going on there. Let me read some of the comments here. I was saying, aside from Washington's defensive line, Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is a hell of a player. Former Bill Logan Thomas is really, he's turned it around there. He's become a real tight end now. He's no longer, a converted quarterback. Like he can hurt you. He can make some plays. That was a hell of a touchdown catch from Calvin Ridley too. Just happened. And this kid Heineke looks scrappy. He looks really scrappy. He looks, he's not like big and sexy and, has a cannon arm. He just plays tough and gritty. So, yeah, I mean, they have players. I mean, and, they have that defensive line that looks that, probably is as legit as they come. So, it just feels good, guys. I'm going to enjoy this. Yeah, Eric, Eric, he had his best game against them, and they still lost because if you remember that sequence, Heineke threw the game away. Bradbury jumped the route, picks the ball off. It's like, you know what? Just go score a touchdown. They played for the field goal. 2 weak-ass runs to Barkley, and then I think an incomplete pass. Their best running back. See, that's the thing with the running backs is like you have Barkley. Their best runner is Daniel Jones, and it's not even close. Daniel Jones is their best running option. Barkley had the nice big run, but he just starts dancing. You know what he reminds me of? Saquon Barkley. He reminds me of a big CJ Spiller. He'll break this long run, but then he just gets behind the line and starts dancing and stuff and trying to make guys miss. He doesn't hit the hole hard, and he just gets tackled for 1, 2, or for a loss. That's a second overall pick. Ugh. But yeah, like Eric said, Daniel had a nice game. He ran. He had a touchdown called back off a hold. I mean, that was another thing. Washington did everything to lose that game. They played well, and the Giants did themselves no favors, and they still, it was a perfect storm for them of mistakes. You get the guy to miss the kick, and then you jump off sides, you give him a second shot to miss the kick 5 yards closer, and he makes it. So, yeah, we'll see. They're coming to our place, and it should be a good game. The Bills can do some work on their right tackle, Kasemi. He's a rookie. He had a rough one. He was having some hard times blocking a Washington team that, not a Washington team, a Giants team that does not have a good pass rush. Giants do not have a good pass rush whatsoever, and he was having some rough goes against guys like Odenigbo, and I think Lorenzo Carter worked him a little bit. So Samuel Kasemi, their right tackle, they can get at that guy. They can get him. They can make him moving. And again, Heineke is going to be his 4th start. He's not a big quarterback. You can bang him around a little bit. You can make things uncomfortable for him. You can give him some looks he hasn't seen in game. You can, play a little bit more aggressive with these receivers. They're not big receivers. Their tight end is big, but he's not as refined as Gesicki. So De'Ami Brown's a nice player. So you can get at their players. I think the Bills can make some hay against this team. Tom says, were you happy with our defense today? I thought we were great, allowing the Dolphins. Yeah, they only got 216 yards. Our run defense, that's the thing, is like our run defense looks right. Our run defense looks good. And if you force teams to be one-dimensional, you can play pass rush games. You can start pinning your ears back and putting these guys, into third and longs, you can win games. Our defense, there was a few points in this game I thought our defense was going to get a touchdown. There was a few times I'm like, we're going to get a score here. We're going to get a pick six. We're going to get a scoop and score, something. Forced fumble. It was close. But, it's coming. It's coming. I think this week our defense is going to get something cooking at home. With our crowd re-energized, they're going to want to come out and get that opener stinker out of the Bills fans at home mouth. So I think we're going to see something different this week. Who's saying if AJ Epinesa keeps improving, I think we're pretty set for the future. Hughes can retire knowing he left the team in good hands. I don't know if he retires. I think he still has some play. I mean, he's only 30. I think he's 31, 32. He's not old. He still has some pretty good legs. But my point is, if Ruseo keeps improving, he's playing a lot. Epinesa keeps improving, playing a lot, gets better. You still have Basham. We don't know what he's about yet. And we all thought it was going to be the reverse. Basham was going to be the guy impacting things early. Me and Eric agreed upon that. I think most of us did. And Ruseo was going to be the guy kind of like learning, kind of the guy like, being the pupil, being the understudy. And it's been the complete opposite. Could they move one of these defensive ends, veteran defensive ends, for something? Who knows? It's possible, because there's some teams that just look really bad. There's some teams that just look really bad, and then there's teams, they were great last week and they're shit this week. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I haven't really checked the scores around the league. Maybe you guys can update me. I'm about to do that right now. What do we got going on here? Probably a new thing I want to do. I want to update scores around the league. Yeah, Carolina just curb stomps New Orleans. Goes, wins 2 games. Arizona's up 31-30 in the third, high-scoring game against Minnesota. Tennessee's getting beat down against Seattle, so they just look like a different team. Dallas is tied 14-14 with the Chargers. So it's such a week-to-week league. It is such, and I know Minnesota's missing a lot of defensive players. I think they don't have Barr. I think one of their corners are out. I think they're missing their rookie left tackle. They just have a lot of injuries. There's a lot of injuries. Yeah, my computer is being super slow because I have all these windows open because I'm just like, I watch 2 games on my TV. I have the Bills game going on my computer, and then I try to depending on what's going on in the Bills game, I try to put on another game to try to stay abreast. But today in the New Jersey area, it was just we just got the CBS game, and it was the shittiest game. It was the Patriots and the Jets, and they just destroyed the Jets. They just destroyed them. It was a terrible game. They just killed them. And I think Wilson threw 4 interceptions today. He just got destroyed. The Titans just look. I don't know what's going on with them. They have the ball right now. It's early in the third, pretty early in the third quarter, 9 minutes and change. They're down 15, 9-24. I saw Julio Jones caught a really deep pass in that game, but that was just, that was the only thing that looked like that they had done sexy otherwise. But I'm watching right now. I got Tampa Bay, Atlanta on. Brady just fell. He just looked like he fell in the pocket, like he just didn't have any good. Titans have miserable. Yeah, they're miserable. But that's good for us, man. If teams that we're going to be competing for playoff seeding and spots are losing games, are bringing other teams back to the pack, that's good for us. It's like the Raiders, to me, beating the Steelers today. That's huge because I think, and they had a bunch of injuries today. They didn't have Devin Bush. And they didn't have Joe Hayden going into the game. And then they lost TJ Watt. The Bills didn't have that luxury. So, and I think the Bills are a better team. I know the Bills are a better team than the Raiders. I know the Bills are better. We know the Bills are a better team than the Raiders. Yeah, KC and the Ravens. I just don't think I think the Ravens are just so injury riddled, and I just don't trust that Ravens offense to keep up with KC. I don't trust Lamar to go into a shootout with Mahomes and win. What's up, Jake? How you doing, bro? Yeah, it was a huge and that's what I was touching on, Jake. Teams in the past, Bills teams, you go up 14-0, boom, we're going to enjoy this week. How many times have we seen Bills teams in the past? They get a lead early, they let a team back in the game with a stupid mistake. Moss fumbles, right? There never would have been a redemption story. Bills get a stop. Oh, third down, nope, penalty on Levi Wallace, whatever it was, illegal contact or pass interference. Miami gets a first down. 2 plays later, boom. Catches Brissett peeking a little too much at Gesicki, and he just drives on the ball and bingos it. And they, again, it was just an ugly from the 5-minute mark all the way to the half. It was ugly from both teams. There was a lot of turnovers, just sloppy play. The rain, the field that was played on yesterday, I didn't know this till halfway through the game that the Hurricanes had played a game on that same field. And I was glad you didn't see a lot of slip in and slide, and it didn't look mucky. I was a little worried. I don't want nobody to have one of those non-contacts and all of a sudden, oh shit, we don't know what's going on. But there was a lot of injuries today, and our team has held true. They've held strong and not really, they haven't fallen victim to that yet, thankfully. Awesome. Let me read some of the comments here, but also to double down on that, I've mentioned it a few times. Moss, redeeming himself, saying, you know what, that's not going to be, I'm not going to be the go to this game, and having, the run before the fumble was fucking amazing. Hard 9 yards. The first down run he had, it was like third and 1.5. He made that shit. Broke a tackle, got to the edge and finished. And the 2 touchdown runs were just violent. They were violent. And you saw Eldon Roberts after that last one at the goal line, the one Josh didn't get the touchdown for, and then Moss came in and got it. That was just second effort and finish, because it looked like I thought he dislocated Roberts' elbow on that. Read some of the comments here. Saying Dane Jackson came in. Yeah, he had a big tackle on that. He's you know what? And I didn't notice him. Jackson came in, played, didn't notice him. Didn't really go after him. They didn't pick on him. Just quiet. Wallace could have came back in, but they kept him on the sideline, Aaron on the side of caution. Same thing with Tremaine Edmonds. AJ Klein played pretty much the whole second half. Didn't really see, do you want your best players out there? Of course, but I didn't see any oh my God, the wheels are falling off here. We need to get these guys back out here ASAP. I know the safeties just keep everything calm. They keep everything in front of them. They stabilize the defense. Milano played a hell of a game, has been worth every penny of the money that they've given him. Our first round pick really shined today. Our franchise quarterback is strong, sturdy, durable, and withstood some big hits and made big throws when he had to make them. I mean, hitting Sanders, big 35-yard throw, they score a touchdown. The throw back across his body, where a lot of quarterbacks can't make that throw, and if they try, they're going to get picked, or the pass is not going to get home because it's just a long throw. Touchdown to Diggs off of a broken play. He falls, gets back up. Howard can't track him. Easy touchdown. Some of those passes in the second half, the one to Beasley, just a nice little quick hitter. The ones where he hits Diggs, Moss and Howard, not afraid. It's the guy who's intercepted him early in the game. He's a bull hawk going right after him. That takes a lot, man. And then the pass to Knox and the catch that he made was really, really nice. He's playing really well. Knox is playing really well. He's blocking well in the run game. When he's getting his opportunities in the pass game, he's making them, because that was to his right, sliding. He caught it and made it. And that was the 21-0 kill shot that we needed. Dane Jackson came through okay. Yeah, if I'm Dane, doesn't look like he makes that tackle. Yeah, he's a different kind of corner, a little more physical. Levi's a little bit more lanky, like kind of wiry type of player. Dane looks like you're more prototypical, like a little bit more stoutly built, little slightly thicker player. But let's not shit on Levi Wallace. He's a tough son of a bitch. I don't want to choose either. I like them both, and today it's like we've seen why you have complementary backs. Like one guy, second play of the game, 46-yard touchdown, a thing that we didn't think he had in his arsenal, broke away once he got to the second level, was able to get into the third level, pull away and score 46 yards. That's not a cheap run. Moss had the fumble, but you saw why he's on this roster, finishing tough runs, short yardage runs, goal line. Instead of Allen banging down there, you've got a guy like that, what he's for, banging down there and scoring, no problem. The first touchdown by Moss was a thing of beauty. It was a great run. It was a great run. Like just physical, hard, no hesitation, just violent run. It was, I mean, I'm ecstatic, guys. What's up, Robert? How you doing, bro? Yeah, Bills teams would have crumbled. Past Bills teams would have found a way. They would have given up a score. Maybe it would have been 3. They would have had some other mental lapses that they did have. They never would have been able to recover from them. They would have been so demoralized from blowing a 14-point lead, they would have lost the game. I think that happened to them in Miami too. I think it was in 2015. I think Kenny Stills caught a long touchdown in that game, and the Bills ended up just crumbling. It was under Rex. What's up, Robert? How you doing, bro? The fumble was concerning by Moss, but yeah, he made up for it big time. 3 spots. And it was frustrating too because the run he had before was the kind of run he had in the second half where it was violent finish, tough yards, making something out of nothing. This offense needs that. This offense needs that element to it. You need to be able to run and get hard yards. Oh, it's Titans need to stick to the running pace. They're not going to. Oh, you're watching that game. What's Robert says, do you think that's what we can expect? Yeah, of course. They shortened the rotation this week. They had 3 down. They have 11 defensive linemen on the roster, and they had only 8 up on game day. Obata, Basham, Harrison Phillips would shock me. I would have thought maybe we would have seen Butler instead of Harrison Phillips, but Zimmer just looks like a guy that they love, a guy who plays hard, plays strong, and they're just he's in there. Like if you would say there's the pecking order with the defensive tackles, Oliver, Starr, 1A, 1B, and then I think Zimmer is their next favorite guy. I think it's Zimmer after that, Harris, and then Butler's last man on totem pole, or low man on totem pole. But that's the way, from what I see, that's the way they're doing it. Jake says, I believe Levi Wallace has the most important type of toughness, mental. Yeah, he's got amnesia, because that was such a ticky-tack stupid thing. Oh, that's right. He got called for taunting. It was such a terrible play. Like, I couldn't even believe it. It's just like, all he does is this, and it's just like taunting. I'm like, it was so weak. The NFL is really trying to cheapen this game and weaken this game and take the emotion out of it. I hate that shit. Some guys go a little too nuts, but that was nothing. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we've been trying to – the Bills, all the fans want him replaced. And, yeah, could you find a better player? Of course. You could find a better player, but he just fits this team. And, he plays hard. He leaves it all out on the field. He's had his moments, but he's also made plays. And he's pretty sure-handed. When he gets his hand on the ball, he intercepts it. Like, he's not just a PBU corner where he's just a break-up corner. Like, he breaks passes. Like, he gets his hands on balls, he's going to intercept it. So I give him all the credit in the world. He's played really, really well. The roughing the passer on Zimmerman, yeah, I saw that one, and I thought it was weak. It was, the Bills got 2 penalties on that play, right, Eric? It was they declined it and took the passing play. I think it was a pass to I don't know if it was Waddle or Parker on the left-hand side of the field. I remember that, and it was I think that's the one where Brissett got up slow and gingerly. He was like really rattled. But I thought that was like he's in the motion of throwing. I do know this though. The Dolphins were really running a really, and they had a few roughing the passer penalties. They were really playing on the razor's edge with Allen. They were really trying to knock him out of the game today. And if any of you guys have Game Pass, go back and watch it because there was plenty of plays where they really tried putting hot sauce on Allen on the second half of some of those plays. Like the back end of some of them. There was a few of them. And you saw it with Obata getting the rough in the passer. Like he goes in head first, just like going in for full spear. He doesn't care if he gets called or not. He's just like, if I sit this guy out, and the game was already in hand at that point. So I'm going to remember that shit about that guy. If I'm the Bills, like I'm going to remember the kind of bullshit that they pulled. Yeah, he gets targeted because you have what's up, Damager? How you doing, bro? Feeling good today, man. Just like the rest of you guys. He gets targeted because you have Levi Wallace, you have Taron Johnson, who's he's a dog, my kind of player. If I'm a player like Taron Johnson, just undersized, just nasty, just go for it, just leave all my heart and my soul, my skin, whatever I need to out on the field. Poyer, hot Milano. So he's kind of that guy that's going to get picked on and singled out because you got to throw the ball somewhere. And, he holds up as best he can. And I give him a lot of credit. I mean, the whole defense just played amazing today. Top to bottom, front to back, up, down, side to side. They just played amazing. And it really, what it does also, it really just, it puts doubt in everything Miami is doing in their rebuild. You trade Laramie Tunsil, their offensive line looks like a mess. Yeah, they got all that draft capital, but they traded it to get Tua. And then, they trade a Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's a hell of a player in Pittsburgh. They give all the money to Byron Jones. They don't really have a pass rusher. They signed Van Noy last year just to release him. They draft Phillips, who's a young player. It's only his second game. I like that kid a lot, actually. I think Jalen Phillips is going to be a good player, regardless of what I say here or not. But he doesn't get a chance to do anything, in his first couple of games. I didn't see anyway. And they pass on Herbert. So a lot of their stuff is like, what are we really doing here? Is that 10-6 just a 10-6? We didn't go to the playoffs, and this team in the division just beats the shit out of us. So we need better here. They signed Shaq, traded him. There's another one, Eric. It's just like everything they did, they undid it quick. Just like the offensive lineman, Eric Flowers, signed him, released him. They've had chances to try to build their offensive line. They've just got guys like Robert Hunt. At this point, he's just a guy. Their right tackle got benched during the game. Their veteran Jesse Davis, they benched him during the game because Rousseau was working him. I don't know if you guys saw that. They put a rookie on the field ahead of Davis, their most veteran player, because of Rousseau. Yeah, really out of sync right now, man. Really out of sync. Just a little late, just that needs to get rectified. That shit needs to get rectified. Tom, I have Game Pass, but I compared Kiko asshole, Adam Gase period. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of that today. And I think the Bills will definitely, they know it now, but when they go back and watch the game on offense, they're going to see it. They were really going after Allen. It seemed like it got after the Bills knocked Tua out of the game. It was like, we're going to get Allen. We're going to get the son of a bitch. And they were just trying to put hot sauce on everything, on him in particular, not so much on the receivers or the perimeter players, the backs. I mean, shit, Moss was delivering hits as a running back. That's what I like. He was the one running downhill violent. But there was a few, I don't know if you saw, Allen was angry. He was pissed. There was one where he thought like Brandon Jones. Remember when Brandon Jones came in with the forearm to the head and they didn't get the call? It was a hold. It was like Bills were holding, they were holding, so it was offsetting penalties. Fucking, he came in, Allen slid. He just, forearm to the side of the helmet. Then they go to the next play. Allen runs for the first down, and that's when they ended up on the bench. And there's Brandon again, Jones talking shit, trying to do something as they go off the field onto the sideline. And Allen was just hot as fuck, and he just kept pointing towards the head. He was really fucking animated. Yeah, they were trying to injure him, no doubt about it. Yeah, I just think they just look sloppy, man. Everybody just they have their best drives all year. Their best drive all year was the drive coming out of the half. That was their best drive. That was the drive they looked the most like themselves. So it's still early. Again, I said this in retrospect. They probably should have played more in the preseason. More of their starters, having new piece like Sanders, who's going to be a big part of your offense. You got to get that timing down. He missed some time. Diggs missed some time. So again, I want to see how this team's playing October, November. Right now, I'll take the win, 35-0, and we know there's so much more meat on the bone. It's not like this team is like, oh my God, they can't do any more. No, they can do a hell of a lot more. Bills team last year, first of all, the Bills team last year wasn't playing this caliber of defense. So you got to sometimes, like never as bad, never as good, right? Sorry about these helicopters, guys. Jake says, I feel like our offense is a Ferrari. You can't leave it in the garage. You can't leave it in the garage. You got to put a certain kind of gas in it. You got to turn it on every now and again for a little spin. You got to open it up every now and again. It's very fickle. You got to, and just that you need to tune up. Yeah, Levi really, and it was a real bad penalty damager. It was a real, a penalty that makes me hate the NFL, but it's also a penalty. It's like, damn, Levi, why, dude? That's a third down stop. But for him to come back and get that pick, it's just like the offensive version of Moss. Moss has the fumble and rebounds. When he gets his opportunity next, he gets it. Levi, same thing. Gets his opportunity, makes it. So Bills teams of the past just did not have that get back. They did not have it. They just were not made up like that. But yeah, guys, I've talked your ears off. It's pro football. Yep. I'm sick of the taunting. That's right, Eric. These guys are we get emotional. Imagine us, imagine a camera or refs on us, the way we probably act alone. Me, I watch games alone. I don't go out in public because I know the things I say and how I react. And most of the time I'm quiet, but I have a water bottle. Again, I get to throw the empty water bottle at the wall or at the mirror. That's what I get to do, or I get to smash it because I don't want to break anything. I can't throw anything at the TV. So I can't even do that in a bar. I can't do that nowhere. I can't smash an empty water bottle in a bar. I might, but I'm going to get a bunch of crooked looks. I'm going to get a talking to from somebody, and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just or if I fucking yell an obscenity, we'd all get flagged. We'd all get flagged. Yeah, man. I smashed one. I was so happy I smashed one. Read a few comments before I dip off. What was Miami doing going for it on fourth down, even in their second possession? Yeah, Bill stopped them on every fourth down. Had a better third down percentage, and those were the keys of the game, because maybe if Miami takes a few field goals, it doesn't snowball downhill so fast. Instead of 21-0, you're looking at maybe 21-9, 20. It's a lot different game. Even though it's still a two-score game, it feels a lot better than 24-0. Tom says, me too. I feel you. I got kicked out of plenty of bars watching a game. Yeah, for me, I know myself. I'm not one of those assholes, violent or anything like that. I don't drink. So that's another thing. I don't drink. It's all from the emotion of the game, because I love the game and I love the team. These are sacred. Peace out, Hussein. Appreciate it, man. Love you, dude. We get 15 more of these. I appreciate the fuck out of these. So I'm going to make the most of them I can from every aspect, I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. You see how pissed he is? He's like, yo, dude, you haven't fed me yet. All right, guys. Love you all. Was on here, hour 25. Feels so good to come on here after a win. Ugly 35-point win, but we'll take it. And go enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the end of the 4 o'clock games. Enjoy tonight. Enjoy tomorrow. 72-hour rule, guys. We get to enjoy this till Wednesday. Then you can worry about Washington. Love you all. Go Bills. 1-1. Let's go for it. Let's go for number 2 next Sunday. Peace, guys. Thank you. No, thank all of you for coming in. I appreciate it. I really, really do. Thank you so much.